Welcome, welcome, welcome. Season 3, Wind Down with Kev. I am Kevin Spann, the insurance guru, and I am so excited today. This season, the hashtag has changed the narrative and party people in the place to be. Trust me, we are going to change the narrative on this one. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Kevin Spann, the insurance guru, coming to you with another episode of Wind Down with Kev. By day, all of you know I am an Allstate insurance agent. If any of you need help with any kind of insurance, auto, home, renters, co-op, condo, life insurance, any of that stuff, call me on another day of the week. But today, I'm coming to you as the host of Wind Down with Kev, and I'm really excited today about my guests that I have with you, party people in the place to be. To my right, I have none other than Shawn Waller. Shawn Waller, the real estate agent. Shawn Waller, the host of Strictly Free Game podcast. Shawn, talk to the people. Tell them who you are.
Kev, I could not have asked for a better introduction. I am Shawn Waller, also known as Shawn Your Realtor. You can find me on IG as Shawn Your Realtor. Like Kev said, I am a licensed real estate agent with Signature Premier Properties. I give constant free game. That's my thing. I'm honored, bro. I really am honored to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you here, but I got to back you up on your introduction, and we got to talk about the most important people in your life. We have a woman that has blessed you to be a dad again. We have new life in the world, and you got some other life you've brought in the world. So let's acknowledge them first and give credit, honor, and respect where it's due. Then we'll get into the other business stuff.
Of course. My apologies. I am married. I am married to my beautiful wife, Stacy Waller. I have two beautiful daughters, Zoe and Jordan. Jordan is my newborn, who you're talking about. And Zoe is my 3-year-old.
Nice.
So that is my life. That's my why. That is why I'm here. That's why I get free game.
You are a blessed man. You have 3 wonderful women in your life. The younger 2 are just babies right now, but they got you. As a father of 3 sons, I've always been told that a man that has a daughter, he'll be good for the rest of his life.
The daughters take care of you when you get old, right? You know the daughters is always going to hold you down when you get older. Daddy's girls.
That's a beautiful thing. Hashtag girl dad. And I like the girls' names. I like Zoe and Jordan. Where'd the names come from?
Funny story with Zoe. So my wife and I were going back and forth for names for Zoe, right?
Okay.
We couldn't figure it out. We literally named her at the 11th hour, like right before she was born. We're home after the baby shower.
Okay.
We get a knock on the door. It's a Girl Scout.
Okay.
I've been at my house now for 4 years before this Girl Scout knocked on the door. I never had a Girl Scout knock on the door. Never. So I'm like, oh, all right. So I introduced myself to the little girl. I'm like, hey, what's your name? My name is Zoe. I was like, oh, that's it.
That's it?
Kev, I literally ordered cookies. I never even got the cookies from the girl.
Man. Zoe, what about those cookies?
Yeah, where are my cookies, Zoe?
Cookies. Wow.
But she blessed me with the name Zoe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You said it. Wifey liked it. Mm-hmm. Game, set, match.
That was it. And when it came to Jordan, she was like, well, you got the name Zoe, so I'm naming her Jordan. And I love it. You know, I'm a Jordan guy. I'm a sneaker guy. Jordan, I'm all in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jordan or LeBron?
Oh, Jordan all day.
Forever.
No
argument.
Not even close.
Don't want to be in a conversation.
Don't even want to be in a conversation.
Future achievements don't matter. If he gets the 6 rings, are you open to changing your mind?
Jordan got 6, man. No problem. Never went to a game 7. Always super clutch. Stay with one squad. I'm a Jordan guy, man. I'm an 80s baby.
You're an 80s baby. Okay, so
no knock on LeBron, no.
I respect what Michael did. I had the misfortune of being a Knicks fan, but I lived in Chicago from 91 to 2000, so I suffered through all 6 championships, proudly wearing my Knicks T-shirts everywhere I could, every time. But that man
was he broke a lot of hearts, man.
Yeah.
He broke a lot of hearts. You know what the funny story is? My uncle was he still is a huge Knicks fan.
Okay.
And it will bring me joy every year to give him that pain. But as I got older, I slowly started to become a Knicks fan, and now I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, you know what? It's okay to like the Knicks. I obviously like the Knicks. All my colors are about that New York Knicks, New York Mets life. I'm a Long Island kid for most of my life, so the Islands is a part of it. I like the Knicks, but I'm too big of a basketball fan just really to say that I'm the Knicks, and plus I'm doing business with the Long Island Nets now. But that's another story for another day.
Okay.
So people, my shows are always about my guests, and this brother right here, Mr. Shawn Waller, is about his business. This man, I was always told that when you meet people, you bless them with a gift, and he has blessed me with a fine, not just a bottle, but a fine box of Virginia Black. And people, this is Wine Down with Kevin. If we were closer to home, we'd open this bottle and do shots, and all barriers would be broken. We'd just be kicking it. But since we're not, I'm going to hold on to this beautiful case and take it home. Thank you, my brother.
Listen, my mom and my grandmama told me never show up empty-handed.
Okay.
And I knew you was a cigar guy.
Okay.
Right? And I asked for the best whiskey I could get that complements the cigars. So.
Wow. Well, I'm definitely going to enjoy this. I'm definitely going to enjoy the Virginia Black, and I'll tell you about it another day, another story. So, Shawn the Realtor. Let's talk about Shawn the Realtor. When did you get in the business, and how'd you get started?
I got into the business. I had my license for 7 years now. It wasn't an easy task getting my license. I actually even laugh because Kevin on Real Estate and Chill, he always talks about it.
Yeah.
I took my test twice.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
You're not a quitter.
I'm not a quitter.
Okay.
I wasn't giving up. What made me get my license? I wanted to figure out a career that I could make some money.
Okay.
That I didn't have to go through a long tenure of college for. And I'm a people person. I've always been into customer service, so it was a no-brainer.
I like that. So you got your license, took 2 shots at the title, lost the belt the first time, but the second time you got it, and you here, and that's super relatable. And also, you said you wanted a career where you can make some money, and then maybe not having that whole school thing held against you. Just respect me for what I am, being a people person, and let me get this done.
Yes, sir.
And let me get this done. So you had the license for 7 years. When you picked up the license, did you go right into real estate, or were you an entrepreneur first working while you had a job, and then you switched over and really got into it all in?
Well, I was both, right? So I had a full-time job, and I was doing real estate part-time. I didn't know what I was doing when I first got my license.
Yes.
I literally was searching for a broker. This is Craigslist days. Went on Craigslist, real estate popped up, so I went to the first brokerage that I saw. Bad mistake.
Okay.
I've never advised anyone to do that. Do your
Got
research
it.
before you do it. But I did this. So this is my second tenure of going full-time in real estate.
Okay.
First time I quit my day job, I was like, I'm going all in. It looks easy. I'm going to figure it out. Crashed and burned fast.
Right.
So I wound up finding a job again and slowly saved some money before I went into a full-time again.
That makes a lot of sense. So let's talk about that crash and burn for a minute, because real estate looks very sexy to everybody on the outside looking in. People read books. I think there's some numbers out there, like 90% of all millionaires got their start in real estate. Let's talk about the crash and burn before we talk about successes. What are some of those things in hindsight that you think maybe a new person that watches this and says, you know what, I can do it, I want to be it? What's some advice that you would give somebody?
To be successful in it?
Yes.
So the best advice I would have to say is find out your niche, right? Because it's a business there's a lot of people with real estate licenses, right?
Yes.
I can approach someone today and they can tell me they know 5 people that have a license. You have to figure out how you separate yourself from the pack. So definitely figure out your niche, do as much research as you can, get as much education as you can, find the right broker that's going to help push you into that form of education as well.
Absolutely. So you're with Signature.
With Signature.
Okay, and you're getting that level of education that you want so you can find your niche and be there.
Definitely. Signature is one of the companies that I can say they do go forward with the education. They have daily classes that you can go online. They actually person-to-person kind of education. They're not putting in I'm aging myself. They're not putting in a CD and telling you to look at the CD and that's how you're going to learn.
What's a CD?
I definitely age myself.
Shout out to everybody who's still got a CD player at home.
tempted. I'm tempted to get listen, see, there's some good sound quality with CDs.
It's good sound. And no offense to anybody that's out there selling CDs right now. Shawn, I know you're from Queens. I know you know somebody in the music business. I've been working on some stuff. If you could just listen to this, I would appreciate it. I would appreciate it if you could just hear me out. So somebody's making some money in New York City tonight or now. I'm gonna leave them alone. Get your hustle on. Get your paper. Get your paper the best way that you know how. So a lot of people, like you said, you look at real estate and you think you're selling a house, and you might simplify it in your mind, but there's a step before you sell a house, and that's that work. Talk to the people about if there's anybody watching this think about listing a house, why they should list with you. What separates you from that one that they're just going to find?
Well, what separates me is I'm more of a relationship type of guy. I'm not a transactional agent, meaning I like to connect with my clients, right?
Okay.
So I'm the person that's going to be there from A to Z, and hopefully that's it. Hopefully it's not another A again, but from A to Z, and I'm going to teach you through the process. So I like that person to person.
Yes.
So my phone is always available. Like I said, I'm always going to give you as much free game as possible. And I have all the resources that you would need at your disposal. Like, I'm referring the lenders if we were working on the opposite side, but I'm referring the attorneys, referring the inspectors if we need it. I'm here for you. So that's what separates me.
To make it easy as possible. And you're having some success. I just seen you post the other day. You got a couple of closings. So
Had a few closings.
That's a few closings. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. Listen, it took 6 years to start really getting. That's another thing I want to say to people. The business takes a while to build.
Okay.
Right? It took me 6 years to get to where my business is now, and I still have some more to go.
Of course.
So, listen, the first year in real estate, I made $0.
Okay.
Second year, I probably made $2.
Okay. But that's improvement. That's two more than the day before.
Exactly. Third year, I probably made $0 again because it takes time. Like it's a roller coaster. Being 1099, self-employed, it's all on you.
Yes.
So, but that's one thing I love about the business. There's no ceiling.
Right.
So the harder you work, the more you're going to get. The less you work, the less you're going to get. So, yeah.
Nah, that's beautiful. I love that, and I love that honesty. A lot of times people are selling you something, recruiting you to the team. They're just telling you the good part, but it's not easy because you're helping people in most cases make what's probably going to be their first major purchase or maybe the biggest purchase in their life.
Yeah, this may be the first major purchase and the last major purchase. And so what I always tell people this as well. I don't think it should always be your first and your last purchase. I think we need to start educating ourselves to go back to starter homes.
Okay.
It's okay to have a small house.
Okay.
To gradually get to the big house.
Okay.
But for some reason, we let social media, we let outside influences make us think that the first house is supposed to be the mansion.
Right.
Which it shouldn't.
Right.
And sometimes people that's how you fall short.
Right.
So it's okay to crawl before you walk, right? Get the starter house, get the condo, get the co-op until you can get to the bigger house.
Now, how does your background help you uniquely relate to people? Tell them that it's okay if we don't knock the cover off the ball in the beginning. Are you speaking from a book or from real life experience?
I'm speaking from real life. I mean, where I'm from, Southside Jamaica, Queens.
Southside.
Southside's in the building.
Queens get the money.
You already know. But that's the thing. So Queens get the money. When I were growing up, there wasn't a lot of entrepreneurs that were doing it at a certain way. Let's put it like that. They were entrepreneurs, but they were just operating a different way. But I didn't know a lot of people that actually owned homes growing up.
Right.
But when I would travel and I would have other friends, they had their mother, their father owned the house, grandma owned the house, cousins owned the house. Where I'm from, no one did that.
Right.
We had an apartment, stayed in that apartment 30 years and never really graduated from that part.
Right.
So when I got my license, I said, you know what, I'm going to help my people to educate them, to let them know, listen, buying a house is not as hard as you think it is.
Right.
Just make it simple.
Right.
So that's why I'm going with it.
So I really like what you said because what you're saying that it's not even an economic thing, it's more of a mindset thing.
It's more of a mindset. It's all mindset.
Okay.
All mindset. I mean, we spend a lot of money on things that we probably shouldn't spend money on.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
The money's there.
The money's there.
The money's there. It's just where you're going to allocate those funds.
Where you're going to put it. So I like tell me if you agree with me on this. It's a statement I make to people all the time. Mm-hmm. Anybody that chooses to live in New York Because it's a choice, right? It's 50 states. You can live anywhere you want.
Anywhere you want to.
We know New York is an expensive state. We know the 5 boroughs, Long Island, it's not inexpensive to live there. But I always feel like anybody that chooses to live here, they can get the money.
Of course.
That's not up to me to judge your pockets. And if someone's coming to you or maybe in that mindset, they just haven't thought about ownership. Would you say I'm right with that or wrong?
Of course. You're absolutely right. I mean, we know that we want to fly cars.
Of course.
Right? We want to fly clothes.
Of course.
So, like I was saying, the money's there.
The money's there.
Just, dumb it down a little bit. It's
Dumb
okay.
it down.
It's
Switch up the priority a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, you can drive the Nissan for a few years before you get the Benz.
There you
Nothing
go.
wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. You're still getting to where you have to go.
Listen, when it's cold, you're gonna drive whatever you can drive.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Especially here, you're gonna drive. You're gonna get there, and you don't have to go crazy on the other things. Talk to me about anybody that maybe you've helped walk through that process of going from, if you grew up as a renter and became an owner, have you been able to talk to and help some other people about making that switch as well?
Of course. Most of my business is first-time home buyers.
Nice.
Which I love that process. It's going to sound cliche. Like, everyone's going to say that. But I truly do love it because I'm working with people that never thought that they could do this.
Yes.
They never thought that they could do it. And once they start going through the steps, and they're like, Shawn, this is not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
But like we said, it's all mindset.
Right.
It was the negative person in the background. I was telling them it's impossible because I had it.
Right.
Growing up, you don't want a house. That's too much maintenance.
Right.
Why are you going to get a house?
Right.
Get an apartment. Listen. You can do whatever you want to do as long as you put your mind to it. Listen to the pros. Stop listening to the naysayers.
Okay.
And trust me, you can do it.
And it's a beautiful thing to get it done. So you rented, and then eventually you bought.
Yes, sir.
Best decision ever?
Best decision I've ever made.
Okay.
And I bought a starter house.
Okay.
My wife thought we were nuts.
Okay.
Because the house needed so much work.
Okay.
And we even had the conversation 2 days ago. She's like, you made me buy this house, even though she loves it now. You made me buy this house. We weren't looking to move into Suffolk County. I was like, listen, we're never going to find an investment like this.
Right.
And plus, I was watching HGTV. Like,
okay, HGTV.
Yeah, I can do these renovations myself. Kev, I never picked up a hammer.
You brought no skills to the game.
No skills to the game. My wife literally took my drill away from me 2 years ago. Yeah, I hire people to do everything.
You had that Cosby thing going. You had that Cosby thing going, always walking around with the intent, but not happening.
I keep the economy going by keeping people employed.
Your contribution.
So we bought a fixer. I mean, I think we had this conversation when you were on my podcast.
Okay.
I bought my house for $250,000 5 years ago.
Okay.
My house, literally, the house I closed on yesterday, same is in my neighborhood. Okay. Same exact style of house, sold for $520,000.
Nice.
I mean, come on.
Double it up in 5 years.
Double up in 5 years. Where else can you do that?
You can't. The stock market is up, but not double.
Not double.
Not 100%.
No,
and that 520 is 100 and something % on top of that.
Yes, sir.
So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And the beauty of ownership is now, if you just sat on, if you didn't refi already, you're sitting on equity.
You're sitting on equity, yeah.
Which positions you to do other things.
Do other things. So now I could take that money out. I could buy an investment property if I wanted to. I could pull that money out and buy a whole nother house if I wanted to. I could. There's so many options that I have now with that equity
that you would not have had if you didn't shift your mindset.
Exactly.
What shifted your mindset? How did you make that change? Talk to the first-time home buyer out there that's in between that conversation that maybe they're paying $2,000 a month for rent, which is not a high number for Long Island or anywhere in the boroughs right now, but isn't sure about making that jump.
Sure. So this goes back to a career I had prior to going into real estate full-time. I was a property manager.
Okay.
Right? So I managed a high-rise luxury building.
Okay.
Where the rents were $2,000 for a one-bedroom apartment. Those rents are going to go up every year.
Yes.
Because this is a business.
Yes.
It's calculated to have a 10% increase every year.
Yes.
So you're going to pay this rent, you're going to get increased, and you're not going to have any equity, like we just said.
None.
Yeah, so when you're moving in, you're paying...
So let me get it one time out. I don't know how many times I got left. Talk to people that don't own a home. What is equity?
Equity is the extras, right? So it's the value that your property has now compared to when you purchased it.
Got it.
That's the easiest way to kind of put
it.
it.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So basically back to that. So now you're paying $2,000 for a one-bedroom apartment. You're going to stay in this apartment for typically like 3-4 years.
Right.
$2,000 a month is what? $24,000 a year?
Yes.
Times that by 5.
Yes. Go give them $100,000.
You give them $125,000.
Easy.
Easy. And when you move, you're not getting any of that.
Nothing back.
There's nothing that you're getting back. So you have to figure out where you're at now and where you want to be in the next 5 years.
Right.
That's the easiest way to put it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's powerful. So you're almost working backwards. You help people think about a 5-year
It's all about
game plan.
Yeah, it's all about your goal.
Right.
This is a marathon. It's not a race.
Right.
Yeah. So 5 years goes by in 5 seconds.
Right. Quick.
So, and I've had people tell me that they're like, "Oh, this is short term, Shawn. I'm only going to stay here for a year." You're still unpacking your bags in that year.
Yes.
You still have boxes in the living room.
Yes.
So, think of that 5-year plan. Think where you want to be, because especially if you're not leaving the state, like you said, if you're not leaving the state of New York and you're going to stay, invest in something.
Right.
So when you do decide that you want to leave, now you're pulling that equity out of the house, you're selling it, you're getting the equity back, and now you could probably buy something cash if you wanted to in another state.
Right. And it's helping you, preparing you for that next move.
Mm-hmm.
How big was it? You bought a starter home 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to 2020, you're home for a year. I'm home for a year.
Yes, sir.
How interesting was it to be able to be in your house and maybe to grow in your house and maybe work on the room for the girls or whatever you did?
Yeah, so that, prior to buying a house, my wife and I had a 1-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
It was a decent sized 1-bedroom, but if it was 2020 and we were in that 1-bedroom apartment together, I probably wouldn't have a wife right now. And she'll probably tell you the same thing.
Oh my God.
But I had a 2-year-old daughter, and it gave us space to run around.
Yes.
She could move around. We couldn't do that in an apartment.
Got it.
Especially those first 2 months of COVID. We didn't know what was going on.
Got it.
We wouldn't even go outside for the most part.
It was scary.
It was scary.
It was scary.
So now, but she had a backyard she could go in. She had extra rooms. We were able to actually sit down and really put the house together in that year too.
You talk about, we were introduced to words like social distancing.
Mm-hmm.
My greatest joy during that time where we were really not going outside was the ability to go in the backyard or to walk to a mailbox. And respectfully, you're from Queens. My agency is in Queens. I'm in Queens 3 out of 5 days of the week. When people don't have that mailbox to walk to, you can't social distance. You can't get any fresh air, any free game air. That really matters.
That really, really matters, yeah. Especially if you're in a building, you're in an apartment building. The one I was managing was 160-something units. So there's no such thing as 6 feet. Your 6 feet is walking out that front door, and then your neighbor is right next door, probably 4 feet away.
Right.
So that it was a crucial thing that everyone needed, and we realized that during the pandemic.
I heard on, I'm trying not to watch the news now as much as before. I try to stay positive, but you make a point, so I wanted to bring it down. But it was talking about certain projects in certain areas of the city where the numbers were disproportionate, and it's part of it is the social distance is just a concept. Yeah. It's a concept that can't be executed if you don't have space.
How could you possibly do it? Everyone's walking out their front door to go to the compactor, right?
Right.
There's no such thing as social distancing.
Right.
You can't, if you're getting on the elevator, we're from, you know how big an elevator is.
Right.
The elevator is barely 6 feet.
Right.
So how could you really social distance from each other? Which actually, and I think the pandemic did a few things, right? Personally for me, it helped me grow my business.
Okay.
Meaning because it helped me with the social media part of it.
Okay.
I wasn't doing any social media prior to
None.
None. I was the typical post maybe once in a blue moon.
Okay.
Videos, stuff like that, wasn't doing that. I was scared to death to do it.
Okay.
I'm home with a 2-year-old.
Okay.
So I had to entertain her somehow.
Okay.
It's basically entertaining myself. So my wife is deemed essential, so she had to still go to work. So
what does your wife do?
My wife works for in the medical field. She does medical billing.
Got it. I got you. Okay.
But I'm home with my daughter.
Right.
Because real estate was deemed non-essential. So I'm home with a 2-year-old. She's ready to kill me because dad doesn't know what's going on. Dad's so used to running around. Whatever. But I started this thing on Facebook, Quarantine Dad. It was like a Dear Diary.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And people were loving it because I guess they were loving to see my stress of dealing with a 2-year-old. But it helped me put the camera on myself and her.
Right.
So, and it helped me actually connect with my daughter.
Of course.
It was the best. Those were the best 3 months.
Of course.
Because now Zoe and Daddy we have a tighter relationship because of it. But to get back to what you were saying, I forget kind of what we were saying.
That's okay, but you're in a good place. I want to hear about Quarantine Dad.
You want to hear about Quarantine
So even
Dad?
if we lost the point, don't worry about it. This is big.
Yeah, but Quarantine Dad definitely helped me get into the social media space.
Okay.
It helped me turn the camera around on myself. And it made me realize that one, life is too short.
Yes.
So we have to, if you have a goal, and my goal was to always be on social media, to do what I'm doing now, do it. Because life is too short, and 2020 showed us that.
Yeah. Don't take anything for granted.
No.
So you start posting about Quarantine Dad. That's a great hashtag because I haven't heard about it. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other dads that was out there that was doing hands-on time, connecting with their kids in a way they never did before. So that's powerful. You started that. So I'm really piqued just hearing that you weren't on social media before, because now you're a beast. Now you went to a monster. Yeah. You go from not being on to Quarantine Dad to Strictly Free Game. So talk to me about Strictly Free Game. What was the impetus to start the podcast?
To start the podcast, I've always wanted to start a podcast. That's been my thing for the last 3 years, but I was always too nervous to do it. The Quarantine Dad helped me get there. But the Strictly Free Game part of it was like, you know what? Where I'm from, no one is teaching us this stuff.
Okay.
At all. Like
okay.
We don't. Now we're talking about it as things started to progress. But growing up, we didn't know about it. I didn't know anything about home ownership. And I'm like, you know what? Let me talk to my people. Let me educate them a little bit more.
Right.
But I started the podcast. I didn't want it to strictly be about social media. I wanted to be about all things pertaining to us.
Right.
Our podcast together, Kev was actually on my pod. He's my favorite guest so far. No knock to anyone else, but I learned so much from our podcast. And we spoke about generational wealth through life insurance.
Right.
Everyone that I know that watched that podcast said their whole mindset changed from it.
Beautiful.
And that's the goal. That was the goal for me to do that podcast. So Strictly Free Game. That's what I'm giving. I'm giving free game. I'm letting my guests give as much free game as possible, and it's been on a come up since.
It's a beautiful thing, and you say Strictly Free Game. Just how you position that, you get our audience, because people want to know. Because a lot of time there's a standoffish nature to say, "Oh, he's just trying to get me."
Yeah,
he's just trying to get me. This is about him. No. Use this for you. This is not for me. This is not for you. So. Shawn, Queens Get the Money, Southside, Jamaica. You and I, after we did that podcast, I found out that we know some people in common. So if any of them watch this podcast and they're looking at that shift in mindset, I definitely want them to think about you, about making that move if that's on their mind, to have that conversation with you, because somebody has to give you that confidence that I can do it. Maybe I can be a homeowner. Yeah. I can remember myself, just to share a personal story, when I first bought my house many, many years ago. First house I bought was in North Chicago, Illinois. They were advertising houses, were inexpensive, 3% down payment. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
I'm scared to even ask the price.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, don't. $89,000. Yeah, yeah, but in either case, even with that low number, if you're not holding that $3,000, and if you haven't really been in a conversation about your credit score, and that's not right, and you know it's not right, you still have to talk to somebody like you to make them feel that it's okay. So I had that person. That person for me was Glenn Broughton, still a friend of mine to this day. Nice. You have to be excited to be that person for somebody that can talk to them and say, you know what, you can get the down payment, you can get your credit score right, and we can do this. Yeah. But since your niche is first-time home buyers, have you been able to do that with some people where the first conversation, Shawn, I heard everything you said, but you know what, bro, I'm looking good, but I'm holding nothing.
I'm holding nothing.
Talk to me about that.
I have had that scenario a few times. I've actually had the scenario where, Shawn, I love what you're doing. I love the idea of home ownership. I always wanted to purchase a home. This is my buyer. She was in her late 40s. Always wanted to purchase a home. My credit, I don't have any credit. I don't have any money. Where do I start? Kev, she bought a house. We had that conversation September 19th of 2020.
Okay.
She purchased her first house in February of 2021.
Let's go. Hold up. Let's run the numbers back. I'm a math dude. I've always been more of a mathlete than an athlete.
Yes, sir.
September
I like that.
19th, 2020 to February of 2021. That's only 6 months.
That's only 6 months.
And the conversation started not with bad credit, no credit.
No credit.
Help the people understand what no credit means.
No credit means that everything was paid with cash. Never had a credit card. Had like a car loan here and there, but nothing really substantial to really like.
Nothing consistent.
No consistency. And really had a little bit of money in the bank, but not enough to purchase a house. Not enough for down payment, closing costs.
Okay.
So we started the conversation. I got them in line with the credit repair company.
Okay.
To actually help them establish the credit. It wasn't really to repair it, it was to help them establish the credit.
Okay.
So started that process. That took like 4 months just to get it rolling. And this is during COVID. So I say, listen, is your job offering overtime? Okay. Yeah, I get unlimited overtime. You're going to be working a lot of overtime for the next 6-7 months. Yeah. That's exactly what she did.
And really turned it up.
Really turned it up. Really? Like, I've never seen someone hustle. And she also did catering on the side. That was her side gig.
Okay. So you reinforcing that said something earlier. You're looking at a person. We're not going to say her name or what she made, but on paper, she's making X. Mm-hmm. But she has access to Y. Mm-hmm. And then on the side, she's doing catering.
Yes, sir.
So X plus Y, she's making up the gap. It don't matter how she gets to Z.
It don't matter how she's getting it.
This is a New Yorker to me. Mm-hmm. This is how I think that everybody is. It's my little biased way of looking at New Yorkers that I've known my whole life. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are W-2 employees on paper, but 90%, that's a high number. A lot of people I know, they have their side thing they do that can really, if they really want to get the bag legitimately, they can get the bag.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And listen, she's coming from East New York.
Okay.
Like
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn in the house. She had a W-2 job.
Okay.
And the catering thing was always something that she just played around with.
So she's just good at cooking food. Mm-hmm. When we giving that family function, we calling her and we paying for it.
Exactly.
Okay.
She said, you know what? People are always calling me to do things. You know, now you have a lot of baby showers coming up. That's what, shout out to COVID. That's a lot of COVID babies.
A lot of COVID kids.
And she was like, you know what? People are always calling me, and I'm always kind of turning it down. I'm always kind of shortchanging myself. I said, yo, turn it up. She's like, all right, let's do it.
And she did it. Put her head down and got it done.
Put her head down and kept going. 2 kids at home. They were teenagers, but, you know, they were home doing their homeschooling. She was like, you know what? They're responsible kids. Mommy has to go out and get it.
Okay. Now, you keep saying mommy. You haven't mentioned dad. It's just mommy.
Daddy's around.
Okay.
Daddy's
contributing.
Around, he's contributing, but mom was the one that was
made the difference.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that at all. So shout out to her. Shout out to you for having that conversation, giving her the goal, the confidence, and the path to get that done.
Yeah, and listen, she originally called me. I'm saying the story without saying it, but she originally called me. Her dad just passed away.
Okay.
During COVID. She's like, Shawn, yes, they were all in an apartment together. I need to get out of this apartment, which I totally understand. I want to rent a house now. She wanted to rent a house.
Okay.
I was like, she told me the number, and I'm like, that's a mortgage. That doesn't really make sense.
Yes.
I was like, what's your budget? It was like $3,000. I'm like,
woo,
that's a mortgage.
That's nice.
Yeah. So, you know, she was apprehensive to buy the house because the naysayers.
Right.
We had a conversation for like an hour. I remember it like it was yesterday. Went through everything. She was writing everything down. She listened. She took my advice, called the credit repair person the same day, got the ball rolling, purchased the house in 8 months.
That's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. And what I like too, so in the beginning you said your niche is that first-time home buyer and connected them with the resources that they need to get it done. Mm-hmm. You have the conversation, you give the credit resource person, they do what they needed to do, and fast forward, that mother, that father, and those 2 kids.
They're living, now they moved from East New York, and now they live in Long Island.
Let's go. Mm-hmm. Let's get it done. All because you gave them some free game.
Listen, I don't know it all, but I could put you in the direction with some people that will.
Well, nobody knows it at all, but we're all 1 or 2 conversations away from our next move, whatever that next move might be. And Shawn, I'd argue that you did more. You gave them a goal and an action plan. Mm-hmm. And that's critical as well. Yeah. That's critical as well. Mm-hmm. So that's huge.
Let me tell you how much of a hustler she is. We did her home inspection on Thanksgiving Day.
Let's go.
She was catering that thing. She literally came to me. She was like, Shawn, I have my catering coat in the closet. Not the closet, in the car, and I'm going right after this.
Yeah.
Same day.
The food is hot. It's in the 10 pans. It got to be delivered.
This
is that extra money I'm getting so we can make this happen.
Yep. 8 o'clock in the morning, home inspection.
So I'm going to give you a Steve Harveyism. Steve Harvey said, one of my friends in my head, never met him, don't know him personally, but in some of his motivational things that he does on YouTube, he said, whatever your family and friends agree that you're great at, that's what you should be doing. And he tells the story of a friend of his that always cut lawns growing up. And for whatever they was getting growing up in Ohio at that time, But fast forward to today, while Steve chose the entertainment path, this man is a big-time landscaper, owns several trucks and several things. So I say that only to say that person that's catering food, and I know a few of them that have gotten into that business and really are turned into a business. As opposed to, can you bring the chicken? Can you bring the mac and cheese? Can you really economize it and monetize is the proper word that they use, and really turned it into something else and really use that as a resource to get this house. Now, fast forward, she's on Long Island. I tell you what, I don't know where she's at, and I don't want you to give away the town. I bet you she can do more with catering out here than she even did in Brooklyn, because we don't have access to some of the food that she probably sells.
So she actually called me last month, and she said, I just passed the building that's for rent, but I want to buy it next year to start my catering company out of this building.
Let's go. Let's go.
And she's going to do it.
I already believe. I'm a believer.
Yeah, she's going to do it.
I'm a believer, and I'm going to be a supporter. I'm not just going to say it. So when she makes that happen, tell me so I could post it, I could share it, and I can buy some food from her. Yes, so some of this entrepreneur business people, it's likes and comments and shares. All those things are very, very helpful because it gets us to the person that can actually make a purchase and allow this economic dream to become true.
Exactly. And I actually like that Steve Harvey quote. That makes a lot of sense. And people, we all have some type of gift.
Yes.
Right? It may be a physical gift. It may be whatever.
Yes.
Capitalize off of it.
Yes.
There's ways you can monetize anything,
yes.
Kev.
Yes.
Anything. You could start a YouTube channel and teach people how to make bottles.
Whatever you good at. And if you have one of those ideas, so strictly free game. You're about that free game life. So let's give away some free game. Let's switch from this wind down with Kev.
Okay.
Let's go into the free game part of the business. Talk to me about something you think somebody is doing right now that they can monetize.
That you can monetize. Man, there's so many things. So many things. Listen, if you're doing, I'm trying to use someone as an example. I'll use my daughter as an example.
Okay.
Right? My daughter's into these shows on YouTube.
Okay.
Yes. I'm not even going to say the shows because we're probably going to be competitors.
That's
soon,
okay.
You know?
That's
I'm
okay.
not giving away too much.
That's okay.
But the shows on YouTube is basically the kids getting toys.
Yes.
Opening the toys and reviewing them.
Yes.
And they have 2 million subscribers. Kev.
Yes.
I'm like,
yes.
This is insane.
Yes.
But there's so much opportunity out there. The internet is a beautiful thing if you're
it's
using it the right way.
It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Shawn, let me say this. I like to think of 2021 as year one. And why do I say that? Because it's a new beginning. A lot of people are like, well, I can't wait to go back and not wear. No, I don't want to go back to the past. This is year one of a bright new future. So whatever you want to do, this is the beginning, and you're first.
Yeah.
You're the first one with the Strictly Free Game podcast. You're not one of a lot of people that's You're first. And this is the beginning of something with unlimited potential.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Without any question, as somebody that's catering or whatever else they're doing, they can do it, and that can help monetize their goals of buying a home or stepping up to the second home, whatever that might be.
It's not being the next whoever, it's being the first you.
Exactly.
That's all it's about.
The best version of yourself.
Yeah, there's so much opportunity out there. There's so much opportunity. Just focus. That's one thing I liked about 2020. It gave us the time to sit back and really reflect.
Yes.
Someone, I think we actually had this conversation. I think Matt Garland actually said it.
Yes.
He said 2020, you either did one or two things. You were either being entertained.
Yep.
You were either on social media watching TikTok all day, or you were educating yourself. You got to educate yourself.
You must. Shout out to Matt Garland, MG, the mortgage guy. I have so much love and respect for that brother, for what he did, what he started pre-2020, and what he's doing now, and everything he's doing with Earn Your Leisure and really educating people on exactly this conversation we're having.
Guys.
Yes.
They started in January of 2020,
yes.
I think it was. One was a teacher.
Yes.
I think he said he quit. I forget. And one was a financial advisor. I could be getting the field wrong. But they started with a phone.
Yes.
On a stand and started a podcast.
Yes.
And now they're one of the biggest podcasts out here.
Exactly. All because they executed on an idea. They had an audience that's thirsty for the knowledge that was underserved, and now they're serving that audience. So, Shawn, you got a passion for helping first-time home buyers. You've said helping my people understand this conversation about home ownership. You're in North Babylon. I'm in North Babylon. I'm born and raised in Wyandanch, and that's where I don't rest my head there at night. My heart is always there.
Of course.
I got to bring you in to do some first-time home buyer stuff.
Let's do it, man. I love that stuff.
Okay. You've done first-time home buyer
I've
seminar
done it
before?
once,
Okay.
a few years ago. I would definitely love to do it now.
Okay. There is a first-time home buyer, financial literacy, credit repair, generational wealth. There's a need for these conversations in these formats. Podcasting is great. We reach a broad audience, but we're getting to a point where at least we can do it in front of a massed audience and educate people on how to make these moves. So without a doubt, definitely going to do some of that stuff and bring you in and just let you talk to people because where I'm from, and I like that you referenced that, and that's near and dear to your heart.
Always will be.
Heavy renters, people there, they pay big numbers, they work hard, they make money, but there haven't been enough of that emphasis on home ownership.
Not at all.
Conversation. So,
And I've actually watched people inherit homes, right? Grandma, grandpa left them a home. They knew nothing about it, how to keep up with the house. House paid off. Don't know nothing about paying property tax and wound up losing the house for property tax.
quick.
I know you've seen that.
Quick. I know it. I do. You strike a chord because I'm relating to it personally. I've seen that, and that's generational wealth not being passed on through real estate. And there are people that are blessed to have parents, grandparents, aunties, and uncles that own houses right now. And this has to be a part of the conversation. And this is, we're recording this today, but it's probably going to be dropping right before Thanksgiving. So people that watch this podcast before Thanksgiving, go to Thanksgiving, bring something nice. You know, you old enough now.
Don't show up in nobody's house.
Don't show up like here's your mom and your grand. Don't show up empty-handed. But instead of just talking about that football game in the background, what's some of the conversations they should be having about the real estate that's in the family that maybe they're not talking about?
Maybe we need to find out how the taxes are on the property.
Okay.
If the taxes are paid up to date. I put out a post a long time ago. It was about just wellness checks.
Yes.
Right? For our
Yes.
especially for our people, because we have so much pride.
Yes.
It's way too much pride, and pride is a dangerous thing, man.
It's dangerous.
And there's probably someone in your family right now that's suffering.
Yes.
That can't keep food on the table, that can't keep the bills paid, that just they're too scared because they don't know what their family's going to say to them when they reach out.
Right.
Look around. When you go to those houses, look around. See how people are living.
Right.
Ask them.
Yeah.
They may tell you.
Yeah.
Some people, they may be struggling. They may need your help.
They may need your help. And I like that. You said wellness check, but you didn't go right into the health. You went to the mental part of the wellness.
Go to the mental, go to the financial.
Go to the financial.
Listen, grandma, auntie, uncle, they could be, you never know. It's our people, some of them are living check to check.
Yes.
Some of them are retired. The Social Security can't keep up with the bills. It happens.
Yes.
We should really be looking out.
Sometimes there's too much month left at the end of the money. The money is gone, but it's only the 24th, and we got another week that we have to survive.
We have to survive. Listen, I've been there, man. Growing up, sometimes it was either you pay the light bill or you pay the gas bill. Something's going to be off.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give.
And it was a few nights that we didn't have those lights on.
Right.
It happens.
It happens. It's just a part of this whole thing we call life and that experience that grows us up and makes us who we are and become who we're going to become. That wellness check-in in my business in insurance, and you're definitely going to see this in real estate as well. I've come across people. We have some older people in our families. Maybe they didn't have children, but if you're that one that's checking on them, I've seen people be surprised with inheritances later. Not that you're going with that motive, but it works out because you're that responsible person. So auntie and uncle, they're happy to see you. Grandma and grandpa are happy to see you for Thanksgiving, and they're happy to hear the other things you talk about. But they're really looking like Shawn ready.
They're surveying the room.
They're serving. Who's ready? Who's ready?
As they should.
As they should.
As
they
they
should
should.
be seeing who's ready. And readiness is having some of those conversations. It's asking about real things, real
selfless.
serious things.
It's all about being selfless
Yes.
sometimes, man. It's, look out for other people.
Yes.
Look out for people because in the end, they may look out for you.
You never know.
Yeah.
And even if they don't, it feels good to look out for people.
Of course.
It feels good to look out for people big time. So Shawn, my theme for this year is change the narrative. Okay. So change the narrative. So you're born and raised Queens. There's a narrative. Mm-hmm. In the apartments, I think you said it's you and it's your brother. Mm-hmm. And there's a narrative of what you're told life is supposed to be. There's a path that's laid out for everyone that most people go down. Mm-hmm. When did you change the narrative? What made you choose a different path?
What made me choose a different path? Well, growing up, my mother was 19 when she had me, right? So she was a young parent.
Okay.
My dad was in and out of jail. He was, it was 80s, what was going on in the 80s, drug era.
It was there.
I didn't have a father figure growing up. So I watched mom struggle.
Okay.
I didn't get the she didn't teach me anything about the financial part of life because she really was learning. Now that I'm 39 years old,
yes,
I can't imagine having a
19-year-old. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I didn't realize mom didn't have it all back then.
Right.
What made me change the narrative is my mom passed away, and I realized if I don't change my family's the lifeline of what my family's going to do, no one's probably going to do it.
Right.
So I decided to buckle down. Figure out a career that I can get into that's going to actually teach me something. And like you said, most millionaires grow out of real estate. Once I heard that, I was like, oh, I want to be a millionaire one day, right? I'm not there yet, so
got it.
Don't call me for the money. I ain't got it. I ain't nowhere near.
Let me hold something. Let me hold something.
May have it.
No. Let me. I was going to ask you. You bought this. I figured let me hold something when the show is over.
But yeah, man, that's what it was about. And I have my two girls and my wife and my two girls at home. We had this conversation on the podcast we had together. I'm going to leave them something.
Yes.
That's bigger than my closet.
Yes.
That's bigger than the house that they're in.
Yes.
I'm going to leave them with some education because they can always look back at this stuff and see what his thoughts were. And I'm going to leave them some inheritance, but I'm going to make sure that they earn it.
Of course.
Girls, Daddy ain't just leaving you this money without
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to earn it.
There's some contingencies going on with this.
Got to earn it.
So, but yeah, they're going to get more than what I got at that point when my mom and dad passed away.
Absolutely. And you shared when you lost your mom and dad at what age?
I lost my dad when I was 13. He passed away, and I lost my mom at 26. Today's actually the anniversary of my mom's passing. It's been 13 years.
My condolences.
Thank you.
My condolences. If you believe there's a heaven and that people can look down and feel certain things, that she has to be way too proud of you.
Man, I still live every day like I'm trying to make my mother proud.
Yeah,
that's still my goal in life.
If
she's watching, I hope she's proud.
That part. There are certain things I can share with you. My dad's been going 19 years. My mom has been going 8 years. But I do everything as if they're still looking and listening. If I have a T-shirt on, which I do every day, so my mom required it. If I don't walk on your grass, it's because my father thought it was disrespectful, and I just don't do it because I honor, love, and respect them from beyond. So that's powerful that you have their presence with you, and trust and believe you reached a lot of people just by sharing that intimate part of your story. Your girls, not only are you going to leave them something, the most important thing, at least in my perspective, you spent that time at home with Zoe. Now Jordan's here. They're watching you work. Watching you work. And they're going to, as you do different things in this wonderful field that you're in, you're going to be able to bring them some things. And they're going to hear you tell them stories like, see that house right there? They started in East New York, and this is how they got here. Those stories and those experiences of watching you do it and understand what you did, that's going to be one of the biggest things that you possibly can give to them, because stories carry us. What we're doing now, telling stories, is everything.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Yeah, I can remember the stories my grandmother probably told me at 5 years old.
Right.
It's that stuff, like you said, it stays with you forever.
Right.
So that's my goal. My goal is to give them that stuff so they can carry with them to my age and beyond, and whatever fellas that they're going to get or whoever they decide to marry, y'all gonna have some competition. Well, you got to keep up with that.
You got to make it hard. You got to make you got to treat them so well that they'll look at guys real strangely. So Shawn, we've been kicking it for a minute. I tried to tap in and tell the people as much as I can about Shawn Waller, about Shawn, your realtor, about Strictly Free Game. What should I have asked you to tell the people about you that I didn't ask?
What should I mean, I think you pretty much touched on everything, man. You introduced my wife.
Yes.
And, I'm sorry. It wasn't my fault. I wasn't even thinking, but Kev brought it back. He brought it back in. I would like to shout her out again because my wife is my backbone.
Yes, please.
She is the CEO of the house.
Please.
She holds it down. She deals with me. That's not the easiest thing.
That's full-time work by itself. Everything else is part-time and secondary.
Yeah. And I give a quick story. So when I first went to real estate, like I said, I was dead broke.
Yes.
Dead broke.
Yes.
This is when I first started dating my wife.
Yes.
She's my girlfriend at this time. She did something for me that no one's ever done for me. And she believed in me. That's one.
That's free game.
That's all free game.
Free game number one. She believed in you. Go ahead.
She believed in me. Number two, I was broke. I was struggling. She actually gave me a little loan.
Couple of dollars.
And I am forever in her debt because of that. So I don't think I will ever really technically pay her back, but I'm going to try my hardest to always pay her back.
And that's a beautiful thing. So ladies, single ladies out there, you want to know, what's wifey's name?
Stacy.
Stacy made the transition from girlfriend to wife. That's the free game he dropped. He dropped a 1, 2, 3. 1, she believed in him. Mm-hmm. 2, she invested in that belief with a couple of dollars. Mm-hmm. And 3, she was your backbone when it wasn't there. Did I get 3 right?
You got 3 right.
All right. And then, I'm not trying to add to your tab. I'm not trying to decrease your credit score and put you in further debt. Okay. But were you there for the birth of your children?
For both.
For both. And when you saw that, you realized you'll never square away this tab, right?
No.
You realize that you're going to that this tab.
Everything is on the house at this point. Right?
You realize that. So shout out to wifey for believing in this man and helping him become the best version of himself, because that's everything.
That's everything. When I decided to go full time again for the second time, I was leaving a job that was paying me a 6-figure salary.
Nice.
And I told her, I was like, Stace, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
She's like, I believe in anything you do. Go for it.
Ooh.
I was still sweating a little bit.
Stace.
Yeah. She probably was sweating a little bit too, but
Stace.
She believed in me, and like I said, I could never pay her back.
That's beautiful. And that confidence is everything. And that belief that she has in you, instead of it being an adverse situation where some way saying, your daddy ain't this, your daddy ain't, she's reinforcing that belief to your girls right now. Mm-hmm. I can't ask no more than that. That is, I thought we was going to talk about real estate, but no, you said some real stuff. You know, unfortunately, being a man's been married for a long time, I could have and should have said the exact same thing about my wife. That belief in you is everything.
Everything.
Now, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect, and finding fault is one of the easiest things in the world to do. Mm-hmm. So ladies, if you're out there finding fault and constantly reminding that gentleman what's wrong with him, you ain't helping.
You ain't helping at all. Not at all. Not at all. Keep it on the inside.
Yeah. Help him. Help a brother out.
Yeah, it's not easy, man. It's not easy for us. It's that pride of being a man, right?
Of course.
That's the toughest thing. That's the toughest hurdle to come over. Listen, leaving a 6-figure job and going strictly 1099.
It's a leap of faith.
It's a leap of faith. And for someone to believe in that, one kid in, mortgage to be paid, and never second guessed it.
Yeah.
Man, listen, that was the game changer right there.
That's everything.
Yeah.
That's everything. That's for life. That's that. How many years marriage? What's your anniversary?
Our anniversary is actually, does it fall on Thanksgiving this year? It doesn't fall on Thanksgiving this year, but it's in November.
Okay.
We got married Thanksgiving Eve. This will be 7 years.
7 years. Beautiful. 7 years. Beautiful. 7 years. 7 years. That's a blessing. So to many,
she lasted past 6. Kev?
Yeah. We
this
good.
Is for life.
We good. We balling now. we balling. We balling. A house, 2 kids, quarantine dad, strictly free game. Shawn the Realtor later. How can people get in touch with you?
You can reach me on any of my social medias. Instagram is Shawn Your Realtor, spelled out Shawn, SHAWN.
Yes.
Your Realtor, spelled strictly out. You can find me on Facebook, Shawn Waller. Telephone number is 718-840-8094. text me, call me, do whatever you need to do to get in contact with me. I'm here for you. You don't even have to, even if you're looking for a second opinion on anything, give me a call.
Appreciate it. Now, how can they follow your podcast? Because we're having a little bit of fun here, but his podcast is dope. I had a blast being on it. And you got to spell Strictly out because I've spelled it wrong a couple of times. Yeah, a couple of times.
Strictly Free Game. You can find it on YouTube. It's Strictly S-T-I. You got me spelling it right. STRICTLY. Free, Free Game.
Got it.
Yeah.
Strictly Free Game. Not charging you a dime. We're going to put that right here. Subscribe to it. Follow this brother. You're going to enjoy his conversations. They're good. They give you free game information. You've had home inspectors, all sort of people on there that give you the information you need to become that first-time home buyer, to change your mindset. We talked about generational wealth, and you touch on many other topics. Ladies and gentlemen, Shawn, your realtor, Shawn Waller, Strictly Free Game, one time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro.
Okay, appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
And people, if you like what you see here, click on that subscription button below. Subscribe so you can get the Wind Down with Kev podcast. If you love what this brother had to say, share it with a friend and another friend and share it again and again, because somebody that's at your Thanksgiving table this year needs to hear this. They need to have that conversation with auntie, uncle, mama, pop, whoever it might be, so they can make that next move in life. And who better to do it than with him right here, Shawn Waller.
Appreciate you, brother.
Peace.